Logic 0, example 9.2, alternative natural English proposition. Okay, so we saw that we had a kind of strange example before, and I'll try to explain exactly what is strange here. Let's take a look at this forced translation from the previous example. If it is not the case that it is raining, then I ride my bike to work. So suppose that I'm saying this. And so every morning I get up, I look out the window. If it's not raining, then I get on my bike and I ride my bike to work. And that means even on Saturday, when I'm not supposed to be at work, if I look out the window and it's not raining, then I get on my bike and I ride to work, even though I'm not supposed to be at work. That's logically what was said in the original natural English. That's probably not what I meant. And so this is that principle of charity that I was talking about. Sometimes we don't say things exactly logically correctly, and that's just part of the nature of natural English. And we're, crunching natural English into pseudo English, which then can be brought into symbolic expression, and we can analyze it using our symbolic apparatus. Some of that nuance and connotation of English gets lost. And of course, this sort of thing, these misunderstandings or maybe not quite logically phrasing things the way that we intend, usually in normal life, it just kind of flies, because we're just not being that precise and we get it based on the context. But like in a legal contract, in a court of law, these differences in logic and the ability to construe the logic in a certain way can really influence the outcome of legal cases. So this is when it really comes into play. In real life, we say either we just get it, I don't assume that you look out the window and you get on your bike every time it isn't raining. I know what you mean. You usually ride to work as long as it's not raining, right? But logically, you're saying something different. Like if you were, giving instructions to like artificial intelligence, it might interpret it in this highly logical way and do something weird if you're giving instructions on when it should do something in relation to the rain, for example. But we might interpret that original English as it would have more logically, precisely been said that I ride my bike to work only if it is not raining. And notice how the order is different here. So let's take this and let's translate this in one swipe here. I ride my bike to work only if it is not the case that it is raining. So I've taken this embedded not and I brought it out to the left by using this is not the case that construction. Okay. And then we notice that it is not the case that it is raining now is over here. And I ride my bike to work is over here. So notice how the the order is different. And when we, get this all the way into symbolic expression, that order makes a ton of difference in terms of the logic. Okay. So, and of course, this is also equivalent to if I ride my bike to work, then it is not the case that it is raining, which also comes across as if I ride my bike to work, then it is not raining. And notice how this really is what the original English from the previous example, that's probably what was intended. It wasn't exactly what was said, but, given our knowledge of what people do when they ride their bike to work, this is really what we probably should take that to mean, even though it wasn't expressed quite logically correctly. If I do ride my bike to work, then it's not raining, right? I don't if I get on my bike to ride to work, that means it isn't raining. Okay. But the logic here is different between these two examples. So, and then when we put it into symbolic expression, which we'll do, ultimately, we can see that difference very plainly. So let's do that just as an extension here so we can see where this is going. Let A equal, it is raining, right? So I'm going to do some translation from pseudo-English of the previous example into symbolic expression. So let A equal, it is raining. And then B equal, I ride my bike to work. Okay. So I'm following the order of the previous example here in assigning the first atomic proposition, the variable A, and the second atomic proposition, the variable B. Then the symbolic expression comes across as, it is not the case that, okay, that's negation. So I'm going to have, negation, and it is raining, A, only if, and again, I'm looking up here, only if, material consequence, so that is the symbolic expression of the previous example. Now let's keep these variable assignments the same, and let's apply it to this third translation here. And say, sorry, let's apply it to the second translation here. That's the pseudo-English. So I ride my bike to work. Oh, we're going to let that be B still. So the ordering is different, but we're sticking with our original variable assignments. B, only if, That's, again, up here, only if. We're going to translate that into material consequence. It is not the case that, notice that once we get the pseudo-English, it's just one-for-one substitution. It is not the case that A. And that's the symbolic translation of this current example, the alternative natural English proposition. And the logic of these two is quite different. Not A only if B is very different from B only if not A. And we'll see lots of examples like this in the future, and we'll see how these don't come out to be the same thing. So these are the sort of complications that can arise when we're trying to get natural English into symbolic expression so that we can use our symbolic apparatus to analyze actual real world propositions and arguments and whatnot. So that's just something to think about. And we'll keep working on translation as we go through the course. We'll keep kind of circling back to this as we go from exam to exam. And over the course of the term, it'll start to, hopefully this will start to come together in your mind. If you're working the exercises, and I'm going to give you lots of examples of real world arguments and how they, sort of come across into symbolic expression, then you'll have a new understanding of English grammar and what is somebody saying logically. This is a big skill. This is, really, this is the grand idea of this course in terms of applying it into real life.